All right, let's get right into it. We're going to tear down a huge myth about what it means to be intelligent. You know, society has totally lied to you about intelligence. We're taught to think of a high IQ as some kind of prize, right? A gold medal for being smart. But for the people who actually have it, it's not a reward at all. It's more like they're just operating on a completely different biological frequency. And that's where this idea of the hyperbrain comes in. It's a mind that sees too much, feels too much, and questions absolutely everything. It just refuses to switch off. So if you've ever felt like an outsider, like you're stuck in a world that's just moving way too slow, you're not broken. It just means your hardware, it's built for a totally different game.
So, where does that internal battle even start? Well, let's begin with how this unique kind of mind clashes with physical, everyday reality.
The very first sign is a huge paradox. It's something you'd probably never expect. It's this constant, nagging state of self-doubt that seems to haunt the most brilliant people.
And this right here just perfectly shows that conflict. You've got the mediocre mind walking around with all this unearned confidence. And then you have the high IQ mind, which is just plagued by what's called intellectual humility. See, they can perceive the vast, kind of terrifying edges of their own ignorance. The more you know, the more you realize you have no idea about. This isn't low self-esteem, not at all. It's what happens when your brain is just too fast to ever settle for the easy answers.
But here's where it gets really interesting. This isn't just all in your head. True intelligence, it's physical. It actually shows up in the body. We call this the Hyperbrain-Hyperbody Effect. So think about it like this. That ticking clock, is it unbearable? Is the hum of your refrigerator a massive distraction? If fabrics feel physically painful, your brain isn't just sensitive. It's like you're running on elite hardware but with none of the standard filters. This is a feature, not a bug. Your brain is processing way more signal from the world around you. It's literally taking in data that other people's brains just filter out.
Okay, so we've talked about the internal conflict and the physical side. Now let's get into the strategic mind at work. How does this unique wiring actually translate into how you operate day to day? All right, sign number 3, the night owl effect. And this is a fascinating one. There's a well-documented, almost kind of dark connection between being a night owl and having superior mental processing. And let's be real clear about this. It's not just a lifestyle choice.
For this kind of mind, the night is a sanctuary. Once all the external noise from the world fades out, the mind finds its own sanctuary. This is when the hyperbrain really comes alive. It's running thousands of social and strategic simulations, predicting and modeling every possible outcome of a conversation or a problem you're facing. It's literally predictive modeling on a massive scale. And what happens when that hyper-focused mind finally decides to speak? Well, it can be pretty sharp, maybe a little unfiltered. And that brings us to our fourth sign, one that most people would never, ever link to high intelligence: taboo lexical fluency. Yeah, we're talking about swearing. But look, this isn't about having a poor vocabulary. It is the exact opposite. Swearing, for a genius, is like the surgical use of language. It's about expressing a very specific nuance and emotional intensity that, let's be honest, polite language just can't capture. It's about precision.
So when you're processing the world in this unique way, it's going to lead to some misunderstood social behaviors and some really tough internal battles. So let's dive into the social programming and the ego traps that come with this kind of brain.
Okay, sign number 5 is called linguistic accommodation, and this one is super rare and deeply misunderstood. Have you ever noticed yourself unconsciously picking up the accents, the speech patterns, even the mannerisms of the people you're talking to? You become a kind of social chameleon?
Now, the first assumption people make is, that's just fake, or you must not have a strong sense of your own identity. But is that really what's going on here?
No, not at all. What's actually happening is a super high-level pattern recognition system that's running completely below your conscious awareness. Your brain doesn't just hear words, it hears the entire system of communication, and it automatically hacks into it. It does this to survive, to connect, to influence. It's basically subconscious neural synchronization. Okay, let's talk about a behavior I'm pretty sure a lot of you will recognize: procrastination. Sign number 6 is active procrastination. But wait, this isn't about being lazy. For the hyperbrain, procrastination is actually a defense mechanism. It's the ego trying to protect itself. See, it's a high-stakes battle going on inside your head. Your entire identity is built on being the one who figures things out.
So the fear of not figuring it out, it's a massive threat. Your brain can model failure in such precise, uncomfortable detail that the ego just slams on the brakes. It paralyzes itself to protect its status. You're not lazy. You're just locked in a fight against your own impossibly high standards.
And all of this brings us to our final section, the ultimate sign of genius, the single most powerful hallmark of the hyperbrain.
This is the ultimate sign, and it's something called cognitive compression. What is that? It's the incredible ability to take something staggeringly complex and boil it down to its most radical, elegant, simple core. Think about it. The goal of the ego is to make simple things sound complex, right? To use a bunch of jargon to seem smart. The goal of genius is the complete opposite. It's to make the complex sound simple. It's to make the whole mountain of confusing ideas and compresses them down to a single, crystal-clear diamond of truth. It's about accuracy over everything else.
So, if any of it sounds familiar to you, then you need to understand something. You are operating on a frequency that most people simply cannot hear. Your mind was built for depth, but you're living in a world that's perfectly happy just skimming the surface. That's the burden, but it's also the power of having a hyperbrain.
You possess the blueprint. The only question is, what are you going to build?